Well, as you can hear, it's a really windy morning, and it's going to get windier today. It's just one of these. We've been in this wind slump. It's just high winds all the time. End of April here, toward the end of April, and I'm out in a shallow marsh lake. I'm on the sort of lee side, so the water's pretty clean here. So I've got trout responding to cork. Nothing real big, but you know, this kind of 13.5, 14-inch trout. But I want to try this small twitch bait, because I've been in situations before like this where the small twitch baits, they really responded to it. So I'm going to start with this little Yozuri and see what happens. I'd rather fish this than the cork, because you can fish it faster. Whoa! Right there. Okay. They're responding to it. Boy, that's a little one there. Nice, little bigger one here. This should be a decent fish. Might even be a respectable sized fish. There we go. Yeah, it's like a 14-incher. There we go. Yeah, it's they are definitely hitting this with more regularity than the cork, which is very good news for me, because I don't want to be stuck fishing a cork. But it was a good search bait, so very happy. Just a little Yozuri twitch bait. Probably any little twitch bait would work. Well, I had to get the cork back out again. I lost the bite. And the same size fish. I lost the bite with the twitch bait. I think the school kind of swam off. So I'll catch a few more with the cork and this matrix shad green hornet on a 1/8 ounce jig head, and then I'll switch back to the twitch bait. It's kind of a small one here. Oh no, not as small as I thought. Not too bad. Yeah, so going back to that cork, you know, one thing about this situation is that it gets so loud out here in this wind and the waves, and I think it's really hard for the fish to find the twitch baits unless it's, you know, you really have a really strong, huge concentration of fish. That little twitch bait I can't cast very far, so it's kind of an inefficient way of fishing. Well, I left that lake. The water quality there got bad, and so I have switched and I'm throwing a double D along the grass lines, and getting a few hits. It's the first fish that's come in, but this is in a bayou. It has protection from the wind, so I hope to maybe turn this into a few more fish. Yeah, so I chose to fish this double D. It's actually the Plum Nasty double D. It's basically a floating muridine, and really good bait for running these grass lines, because I need to stay shallow, but I can pause it without it dropping down, and so I can go over some of the grass. The grass is really pretty high, so I'm running along the grass, not in the grass. And really good bait. The water temperature is 67 today, which is, you know, pretty low for the end of April, or the third week of April. So surprisingly low, but we've had some really crazy weather last week or two, and so I guess it's and we've had some cool nights lately. But the fish are really aggressive. The trout are aggressive today. Really nice to see that. It's starting to feel like summer. There we go. Another trout. Oh no, this is another bass. Wow, that's a nice bass. That's a little bigger bass than I'm used to catching. Whew. A nice bass. Wow. Look at that. That's a chunky bass. Very nice. So the way I've chosen to fish the grass line is to back the back of the boat, stern of the boat up almost to the grass line, hit the spot lock so it holds me, and then I can come to the back of the boat and I can cast parallel to the grass line. And that's definitely the most efficient way to fish grass line like that, because otherwise if you're casting up to it, you have very limited time that you're actually near the grass line. You're always pulling it away. Very nice trout. Whew, it's definitely the biggest one of the day. Oh yeah. Still working. Now I'm working shorelines in the Biloxi Marsh, and that's a welcome sight. Wow, this fish is kind of cold. And the water's not that warm right now, surprisingly, for this late in the spring. Yeah, water quality is not that great even in here. This is another big lake, inside lake, but I got that purple back on the, this is the plum nasty. It's enough so you can see it. It's about probably a foot visibility, so it's not great water clarity. Everything's stirred up, of course, on a day like this. It's 12-15 knot winds, but it doesn't mean you can't catch fish. Just try to find the clean. I mean, I try to find the cleanest water I can, but near where you would expect them to be this time of the year. You can't just go somewhere where it's got clean water, but the fish haven't been in that region for, you know, a month, and expect to find that they've returned. They're not going to come back in very far. They're going to stay kind of out where you'd expect them to be. So I'm just looking for the cleanest local water that I can find. And so the inlet was a lot dirtier, the inlet to this lake, and I moved down the lake, and so that's helped a lot on the water clarity. I got hammered. This might be a trout. He hit it hard. Solid fish. Maybe it's a redfish. No, it's a trout. Solid fish though. Hit it hard. Oh yeah. That's a nice fish. That's a nice 17-inch trout on that. Again, double D. Just working the shoreline. Actually, this is part of what I've been doing today. Is when I have a chance, I've been fishing the wind-blown grass shorelines as well. I mean, that's definitely an area that where bait will be pushed up against, and so I never, you know, I often give that a shot, because I know that things like this happen. Beautiful fish. Yeah, so this spot, we got this wind-blown shoreline with grass. This is a marsh lake, and that 12-knot wind's just pushing that water up against there, and there's a connecting channel here that goes to a smaller lake. So we're kind of right at the edge of the channel. That's a tiny fish. Cute though. Another decent trout here. Decent trout. Not huge, but probably 15 inches. Nice fish. Yep. Still fishing that double D. And plumb nasty color. Yeah, it's been a tough day, but that one again came off of a wind-blown shoreline. You know, despite that rough, all that rough water blowing against the grass line, it still holds trout. So always something good to remember. I'm gonna wrap it up. So we got some weather coming in here. It's gonna turn, and we're gonna get another storm. I think every week is a storm. This April's been a little tough. I mean, I'm catching fish every time I go out, but not as many as other Aprils. But April can be tough anyway because their fish are moving around. Tend to get a lot of the small trout, little males. That's what I'm seeing this year. So anyway, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for my next video.